Let's move on to the link and chain methods. The link method. Using all of your senses, the present is actively associated to the previous in an absurd, emotional, or unbelievable way. That's really the definition of the link method, what's going on in this technique. Using all of your senses, the present, what you're trying to remember, is actively associated to the previous, something that you already know, in an absurd, emotional, or unbelievable way. And how do you make things memorable? How do you make things absurd? Well, in the associations and in the stories that we're going to create, as we apply the technique and we learn the technique, the images have to be bursting with action. You have to make the images gigantic. Sometimes you exaggerate the number. Sometimes you paint the images with brilliant colors. Other times you're going to substitute images. My contribution to the memory improvement training techniques is this. As we go through, you'll hear me consistently ask, well, what are you seeing? What are you touching or feeling? What are you tasting, smelling, hearing? I want you to think about these stories and apply your senses. And I also want you to think about how these stories make you feel, the emotion that's behind it as well. The more you create stories that you have interest in, the more you create or even manufacture something that's not mundane, you will remember it. I guarantee it. Let your imagination run wild. All right, now we're going to move on to one that's pretty fun. It's called the body peg list. So remember, we're creating mental pegs, mental places that will always be there. So when we go back to it, the pieces of information that we're trying to remember will be there as well. So you should look at your book on this one, but if you don't have it, I'll do my very best to describe things as we go through. I'm going to designate 10 points on your body, and those places are always going to be the 10 body pegs. They will never change. Ever, ever, ever. So here we go. Number 1 is the toes. Number 1 on the body peg list is the toes. We're just going to work our way straight up. Number 2 is the knees. Number 3 is your thigh muscle, and we're just going to call it the muscle. So again, 1 toes, 2 knees, 3 muscle. 4 is your rear. 5 are your lungs. 6 is your shoulders. 7 is your collarbone. Not your neck, your collarbone. Number 8 is your face. Number 9 is your brain. And number 10 is actually off of your body. It's the ceiling, just above you. Now the reason why I'm calling these certain places on your body exactly what I'm calling them is because this body peg list is going to tie into the phonetic alphabet for numbers later on. So I just need you to trust me for now. Call them exactly what I'm calling them, and this will make sense a little bit later on in the seminar when we get to the phonetic alphabet for numbers. You'll see how this ties in brilliantly.